Okay, next up, from Albuquerque, New Mexico, we have Circular Genomics. Presenting for Circular Genomics is Alex Havez. Welcome to the stage.
One out of 3 entrepreneurs struggle with depression. This problem is greater than just our community, though. In the United States, in 2019, 21 million individuals were diagnosed with this chronic illness. 2.5 years later, after our pandemic, this depression is 4 times higher in the United States, estimated to be over 80 million individuals. Depression is the greatest public health crisis to ever face our nation. Depression worldwide is the leading cause of disability. We have higher rates of hospitalization and suicide as a result of it, and the global economic cost exceeds $1 trillion per year. You might ask, why don't patients get treatment for depression? One reason is the social stigma that exists around it. There are many people that believe that there is no biological basis of it, that it is not a condition that should be diagnosed and that does not need to be treated. There is also this distrust that exists in our healthcare system, where patients that are depressed might not feel willing or able to go talk to their provider, their medical providers, about this. When they do finally get that courage and they go try to make that appointment, they run into long wait times. In Albuquerque, where a company is headquartered, mental health clinics often have wait lists that are so long that you can't even be added to them. And then when you finally get into the clinic, you run into a treatment model that revolves around trial and error, where you're prescribed an antidepressant, you only have a 40% chance of responding to it. You'll take it for 2 to 3 months, often figure out it doesn't work, you taper off, and you start again. A patient with depression or an individual with depression can spend months, if not years, trying to find the right antidepressant and dose that works for them. The big problem in mental health care is that there are no good biomarkers that exist today. We've tried DNA, which is our genetic code. It shows your predisposition for depression, but it is not very predictive. Messenger RNA is the RNA that is used to code for proteins in your body. We can use it to look at real-time expression of those genes, but it is highly unstable because it's exposed to the enzymatic degradation that degrades it. Protein is actually predictive, and it is stable. It's the building blocks of our cells, but it's difficult to measure in the brain because we don't take brain biopsies of depression patients. So what we're trying to do with circular genomics is use a new biomarker called circular RNA to help diagnose, monitor treatment of mental health conditions. Circular RNAs are a biomarker. They're stable, predictive, and can be measured in bodily fluids, including your blood. It's a better way to help clinicians provide precision medicine, leading to improved patient outcomes. The platform that our company is developing does not only apply to mental health care. These are molecules that are highly stable in our blood. We can use them for very early detection of medical conditions. For example, in oncology, predicting early remission of a cancer. Also in neurology, possibly predicting early onset of Alzheimer's or dementia. Let me show you guys what we do. In our company's laboratory, we're sent blood samples from individuals that are experiencing depression. We're able to extract and purify the RNA from those individuals, and then we use a process called quantitative, circRNA-specific quantitative PCR. We use this to measure the expression levels of the circular RNAs in that individual. We can create a molecular profile of these circular RNAs and their expression changes, and we can run it through our analytical pipeline to determine whether or not that individual may have depression and how they might respond to different medications. This is some of our early data from a clinical trial that we did that we've partnered with. You can see here that using a single circular RNA, it is 97% predictive of a diagnosis of depression. This helps remove the stigma that revolves around depression by giving it a biological basis. The response to an SSRI that we're studying is the circular RNA is also 94% predictive of it. So the 40% likelihood of responding to a first-line therapy is now substantially increased. We're improving patient outcomes and reducing months of trial and error treatment down to days. There are 3 channels that we see our product easily going into the market: primary care, telemedicine, and urgent care. All of these channels struggle with treating patients in a timely manner and have very difficult times working through the clinical diagnosis of depression. We can improve their workflow, increase their volume, reduce those wait lists, and provide the patient a better experience. Our team is led by scientists. I myself earned a PhD and an MBA simultaneously at the University of New Mexico. The research you're seeing today was based on part of my dissertation work. Nicolas Milios is our chief scientist and lead inventor. He was trained at UMass and MIT. And Cosmos Karadimitriou, our data science expert, was a co-founder of ZoomInfo and worked early on with Kayak.com. Our company's mission is to bring precision medicine to mental health diagnostics and therapeutics. What we want to do is give people remind people that there's hope, that there's always going to be a better tomorrow. I'd ask you guys, if you're really interested in what we're doing, to join us. Look at our website, circulargenomics.com, and we'd love to have you help. Thank you.
And give it up for Circular Genomics. Thank you, Alex. Let's go to Jordan.
So congratulations on what you built so far. You're tackling a huge problem that we're definitely facing in America today. I'm curious about the workflow that you guys have in getting to the point where you want to prescribe medication versus another more traditional route using psychology and just basic talk therapy to help people get through what the current state of depression is and potentially not need to get on SSRIs or other medications.
Yeah. So I think the problem that we have right now is that SSRI, you typically you go to a therapist and you have a medication management provider. So most of these patients are prescribed medication. Therapy alone can help, but it does not help most of the population that experiences depression. I think we see about 70% of patients that have depression actually go to the clinic. They're prescribed a medication. And it really, when you look at the first line responses, it's only about 40% is who's actually responding. So, I think this test, one of the things that we're doing is also, that diagnosis of depression. Is it really, is there a biological basis in that individual for why they're feeling that way, or are they just feeling down? That's one of the things that we're teasing out still with the assay. But I think we do have good biomarkers using circular RNAs that show that this person is depressed, and that these different medications they may respond to.
Just a quick follow-up on that. On the distribution channels for telemedicine, how are you going to tackle that first interaction being in person to be able to then prescribe medication?
Okay. So in telemedicine, it's not uncommon. So when you go see a physician, they can still order lab tests for you.
Sure.
So you would go, that physician could order that lab test. They would take a blood draw of it and have it shipped to our company when you're going and doing those labs. So while the test wouldn't be happening per se at the laboratory that they send you to, we still have a way to get the blood of that patient.
Brian?
Related question for me on the channels. I noticed you mentioned 3 of them. Having 3 channels is a lot, especially in something as hard to break into as healthcare. Yeah. I'm curious if one of those 3 channels that you think is the most promising, and do you have any data to suggest which of the ones you might spend most of your focus points on?
So our focus today, we're actually interested in telemedicine. There's been a huge shift of mental health care treatment from inpatient care to telemedicine. I think before COVID, it was around 1 or 2% of mental health care was being done through telemedicine. Today, it's about 40%. So there's a huge shift there. This gives those virtual providers a way to look at biological evidence that's going on in that individual, and they can use that to help determine the treatment plan for them.
Uli?
Is this test reimbursable by health insurance?
What was-
Is it reimbursable? Like, does health insurance pay for the test?
So we have not, we don't have a CPT code to date for it.
Okay.
Our initial plan is potentially to go direct to consumer or have a self-pay option initially, but actively work on getting the CPT codes to get it reimbursed.
And what's the cost then?
So we're still working on that as well. I think the cost of running the test, probably about $40 to $50 on our side. But, so I think we would need a rate where we could afford to do that on our end and then get that reimbursed. I think one of the things we have to do with approaching a self-pay option is pricing it at a position where individuals can actually afford it. Yeah. One of the biggest risk factors, indicators of somebody that might be depressed is typically $5,000 or less in their savings account. So these are people that could be economically disadvantaged. So the test needs to be priced in a way or reimbursed by insurance where it becomes affordable for them to use it.
Connie?
Can I build on that with a question, which is, are you anticipating there's going to be a decrease in false negatives or a decrease in false positives in the depression diagnosis?
I think it might actually work both ways. I mean, because on one hand, I've experienced depression myself, and I have told myself over and over and over, I'm not actually depressed. But in reality, I feel like I am. I think you run into two different sides here. There's people that don't think that they're depressed, but they actually are, or there's people that are depressed, but you might not either feel the feelings of it. You see it on both sides. So I think it helps provide that biological basis of it, removes that stigma around whether or not this is actually a real condition, and it gives those patients some hope when they go see their doctor that something can change and they might feel better. Yeah.
Super quick follow-up. Does the implication there mean that you can potentially use outcomes to try and get a CPT code faster and try and get reimbursable faster?
Yeah, I believe that's our hope. Yeah.
Cool.
Josephine?
I think one of the most interesting potential for circular RNA is the ability to help patients pick the right first medication. Can you draw the line from how your technology allows that? My understanding was a lot of depression medications pretty non-specific at this point, and so would love to understand that line.
Okay, so the data that I had shown you guys was for an SSRI that's the most commonly prescribed antidepressant on the market. You only see about a 40% first-line response to it. And it's prescribed to about 35% of the patients in the clinic as their first therapy. So what we hope to do is, at least for this SSRI, we can tell 40%, or we could tell 94% of the people that with 94% probability whether or not that patient will respond. For those other 6%, the physician can use a different medication that might be indicative of a response. So as we continue to expand and do more additional clinical studies and we look at other antidepressants, we hope to be able to indicate which ones they might respond to. And then those physicians can provide personalized care to the patient.
Well, thank you very much. Give it up for Circular Genomics. Very good.